What were your thoughts on last night's fights, UFC 154, Condit versus George St. Pierre, and as well as Johnny Hendricks' performance against Martin Kampmann?
I thought they were good fights. You know, I didn't catch most of them. I kind of saw most of them on a replay, but I thought they were entertaining. I like to watch the fights. GSP versus Condit, I thought that, you know, it was kind of nice to see both guys kind of coming into fight, and I think the fans really appreciate that. Because a lot of people were thinking Condit was just going to back up the whole time, and GSP was just going to hug him or something like that. And I didn't think that happened, so I thought they did great. And Hendricks, you know, he hits hard. He kind of reminds me, there's a lot of hype about him. He reminds me of like Robbie Lawler back in the day, where he just kind of came out, you know, left-handed and powerful left hand, and was rocking guys.
Hendricks went on to say that, you know, he would rather wait up to 10 months for George St. Pierre rather than take a fight with Nick Diaz. What are your thoughts on those comments, and where do you see Nick amongst this welterweight title picture?
As far as Hendricks' comments, I really don't, you know, it's not my business. So if he thinks that's better for his career and his camp, I mean, why not? I mean, that's up to them. So I really don't care either way myself, and it doesn't affect me, so it's whatever. But as far as Nick is concerned, he's right up top. You know, a lot of people are hoping to see him fight like a GSP or someone, you know, like when he comes back in early next year, excuse me. And so, you know, Nick's ready to go, and hopefully they'll give him a big fight. We would love to have him fight GSP. That would be great, but we'll see how that goes. We don't know who we're fighting yet.
How disappointed would you be if the George St. Pierre Anderson Silva matchup came to fruition?
If George St. Pierre, I wouldn't be disappointed at all. I mean, you got the two champs, you know, fighting each other. I would not be disappointed. I think it would be great. I don't think they should do it. I think Anderson is way too big for, you know, lengthwise and everything for George St. Pierre. I don't see George St. Pierre doing very good in that fight at all. I could see him getting really hurt, actually. And, you know, he's been getting kind of beat up in every fight a bit. But, you know, he's been a great champ and everything. And I just don't think it's a good career move. But, you know, that's up to them. Again, it's none of my business. If it did happen, I'd definitely watch it.
And if George were to take that fight and it were to happen in May, that would, you know, Nick's available to come back February. Does that maybe potentially set up a rematch with Carlos Condit? Does that fight interest you the most at this point?
You know, it really doesn't interest me at all. I mean, right after the fight, if they would kind of set something up like that, it made a lot of sense. But I don't think it's going to change. I think you're going to see Nick stopping Condit down, and it's going to be another disinteresting fight. I think Condit is really afraid to engage with Nick and to stand with him. And I think he's just going to try to back up and do his little baby leg kicks and hope the judges see it his way again. And it's just not an interesting fight. It'd be hard to get motivated for, I think, you know, for the fans.
Well, if you're not interested in a fight with Condit, George is out. Hendricks wants to wait for George. What options does that leave for Nick? Diego Sanchez was recently on Twitter bad-mouthing you and Nick both, as well as Nate, trying to get a reaction. Is that something that you'll bite on?
You know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are wanting big fights, and Diego, he wants big fights right now. I'm sure. You know, why not? There's been like Koscheck, Damian Maya, you name it, they're calling Nick out because they realize the fans want to see Nick fight, and they realize that would be a big fight for them. No, I mean, I've got to talk to Dana about it. Nick will pretty much fight anybody, but as far as like if we're going to get all upset, you know, he said, you know, this particular fighter who I really don't even know, might be a great guy, I don't know, you kind of get upset at him and, oh, we got to fight you now like it's in the schoolyard or something like that. That's not going to happen, no.
Caio Terra was shown on the UFC primetime series cornering Carlos Condit. Caio Terra, for those that don't know, is a former student of yours. Can you explain exactly what happened and what the problem was between Caio Terra and the Gracie Fighter Jiu-Jitsu team?
No big problem. problem is, he made his decision. He went over there. He had joined our team, I think, like 7 years ago or something like that. He's this little jiu-jitsu guy, but I was kind of surprised because he doesn't know any MMA jiu-jitsu. He's a really good. He's at the top of the heap with the sports jiu-jitsu, but that's a whole different jiu-jitsu than jiu-jitsu for MMA. They don't go together. One will actually make you get beat up more, and it was kind of just, anytime you see that kid come in, he came from Brazil, and he needed a chance out here. No one knew who he was, and after training with the team, and being a student really of the Gracie fighter team, because it's not me here. It's not like, everybody, I'm not some mythical person that makes people great or something like that. I do my part, and, Kyle came in and trained a lot with Nick Diaz and all these other guys that really elevated his game, and after he got here, he started winning world championships. The first time he won, I think it was in 2008, it was after he joined our team, and he's been very successful in his sports jiu-jitsu career. And after the guys helped him out, that's what a team is. If you don't have that, why even have a team? So it was kind of disheartening to see someone will put a camera on you and give you some cash and, here, teach us some jiu-jitsu. It was just kind of disappointing, but it's not a big deal, really. It's like, that's not, it kind of made our team stronger and showed people. And I had to, I pretty much cut them loose because it's like I said, why have a team at that point if the guy's training some dude that's going to be fighting you? I got Jake Shields in that weight division. I got, Nick, and we got others 170-pounders, which all these guys that it's like, why? You're working against us, bud. We helped you out, now you're working against us. It doesn't really make any sense, is what I'm saying. So I've cut all ties, and good luck to him and his endeavors, and that's it.
Did Kyle come to the team at all and tell you guys, hey, Carlos approached me with this opportunity, I wanted to see what you guys think about it, or was this sort of like a surprise to everyone?
He did mention at one time, I think it was actually after he already was starting to teach Carlos, and again, I got nothing against Carlos Condit whatsoever. He can learn as much jiu-jitsu from everybody as he wants. It just doesn't make sense to have one of the guys that really knows our inside stuff go teach him, and he did mention it to me, and I said, look, that's not a good idea. We're a team here, and he doesn't understand this isn't the sports jiu-jitsu that he's used to doing, where people shake hands and it's all good. People are trying to knock your teeth out, and they're trying to take your money and food off the table, and they're trying to make their careers go forward, and when you lose, you go backwards. So literally, if he's helping a guy to beat you, it's not good. And I think his mindset, never having fought, never being in MMA, never anything really like that, and just doing sports jiu-jitsu, I just think it was the wrong mindset. So I told him that don't do that, and he couldn't resist. And he came out here. He got a little arrogant, I think, after winning some stuff, after getting good on my team. And like I said, it's unfortunate, but it's not a big deal. So it's like, okay, man, go to your jiu-jitsu tournaments, whatever. And I think he should be fighting for the pros, for the fighters. But there's nothing really more I can say about it.
On to something a little bit more positive. Nate Diaz, huge title fight coming up against Benson Henderson. How is Nate looking in camp?
He's looking good. He's looking really good. And, Nate's trains and he steps it up for competition. That's what he does. We're still hard in the training phase right now. So he's going to be, grappling, boxing, wrestling, the whole thing, and you're going to see the usual Nate Diaz come out and fight and let the best man win type of thing. I think it's going to be a great fight. I really do.
Have you guys brought anybody in from outside to help Nate prepare for Benson?
Yeah, we brought Cesar Gracie in, and Cesar has a really vicious ground game, great guillotines, just one of the top grapplers out there, and I think he's a help for anybody in MMA. If you're gonna, if you want to get better, you want to bring in a guy like Cesar. So the ground game, we had him, and obviously a bunch of other people. We had to make up for some stuff a little bit with Gilbert having injured his shoulder and not training right now. We brought some good strikers in too. We got kickboxers, we got some top boxers we've brought in, and now and everything, and we're going to try to get Nate prepared to bring that belt home. I think obviously if he wins this fight, you're going to see just a few months out. What is it, 3 or 4 months? That's 25, like probably another 4 months away if he wins this fight. This particular match, you know, it's got like some great fights on the card. I'm excited to see it actually, with BJ versus Rory McDonald, and you know, there's just a bunch of good fights on this card. What is it, Shogun, and you got Nate headlining the event with Henderson. So this is huge.
You touched on BJ Penn. I know you guys had some words a few months ago. How's that situation now?
I think it's resolved, and you know, we actually have a lot of mutual friends and everything. And anytime after a fight, there's going to be hurt feelings. This is a very tough sport. Like I said, it's not jiu-jitsu. It's not explosive jiu-jitsu. It's not a wrestling match. There's a lot on the line. And BJ is an emotional fighter. He's got a lot of pride. He carries almost the whole state over there in Hawaii. He doesn't want to lose. Just a tough guy, you know, in general, and he's going to bring it. So if he does lose, he doesn't take that stuff lightly, and I think that's what makes him a really good fighter. Is not being, oh yeah, I lost, no big deal, let's go have a beer together. He's not like that. You know, that's what makes the guy you want to watch a guy like that fight, because he brings that intensity into the cage. But that's over now, and funny as it is, I'm actually rooting for him against this fight against McDonald coming in.
Sounds good. Cesar, is there anything you want to let our readers know before we let you go?
No, just thanks for the fans as usual and everything, and thanks for having me on, guys.